Cameos, cameos, and more cameos. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 celebs who played themselves on Seinfeld.
This nut, some sick nut comes up to me and says, you're supposed to watch this girl's cat.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're only including celebrities that A, were already famous prior to appearing on the show, and B, played themselves. So guys like Jon Lovitz, who had a hilarious cameo but was actually playing a character named Gary Fogel, are not eligible.
I never actually had cancer. I'll see you.
Number 10, Al Roker.
Gyro?
I don't think so.
Longtime NBC weatherman and TV personality Al Roker sure made his one and only Seinfeld cameo count. He appeared in the season 5 episode The Cigar Store Indian, and in a parody of a situation that occurred earlier, rips a sandwich out of Jerry's hands after he gets stuck in a set of closing subway doors. He then proceeds to sit down in front of Elaine and offer up a snarky quip.
Guess your boyfriend's gonna have to catch the next train.
Of course, when Elaine tells him Jerry isn't her boyfriend, he gets a little creepy. Thankfully, it's all in good fun given that it's scripted. Oh, Al Roker, what will you do next?
He's not my boyfriend.
He's not? Interesting.
Number 9, Fred Savage.
Don't look. It's Fred Savage.
Fred Savage may not be the celebrity he once was, but that doesn't mean he isn't worthy of a spot on our list. The former Wonder Years star made a hilarious cameo in the season 4 episode, The Trip. During his brief move to LA, Kramer runs into Savage at a cafe. Sensing an opportunity to share his movie with an actual Hollywood star, Kramer approaches the young actor, albeit in a terrifyingly awkward manner.
I may look weird, but I'm just like you. I'm just a regular guy, just trying to make it in this business.
He proceeds to scare the living daylights out of Savage, babbling incoherently about how he's just a regular guy. Savage understandably freaks out and then runs away. It might have been a simple misunderstanding, but good instincts nonetheless, kid.
So I'm gonna give it to you, all right?
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks.
Oh, wait, you're going now?
Bye.
Oh, wait.
Number 8, Rudy Giuliani.
I've been watching my diet very carefully. I exercise regularly. My only indulgence, I guess, would be that I eat a lot of frozen yogurt.
Despite being a sitcom, Seinfeld never shied away from incorporating real events into its plots, particularly when they involved New York City. An example would be the 1993 New York City mayoral election between Rudy Giuliani and David Dinkins. The event was referenced in the season 5 episode, The Non-Fat Yogurt. In that episode, Giuliani made a cameo appearance in which he denounced a chain of frozen yogurt shops for false advertising.
I pledge to you now that if I'm elected mayor, as my first order of business, I'll appoint a special task force to investigate this matter.
Though it is a relatively small role, it nevertheless makes for a pretty cool anecdote, one which most people would kill to have in their back pocket.
That Mayor Giuliani will do everything possible to cleanse the city of this falsified non-fat yogurt.
Number 7, George Wendt.
Seriously, have they thought about changing the setting?
Doubt it. I doubt it, yeah.
Really?
George Wendt, best known for playing Norm on the long-running NBC sitcom Cheers, had a small but memorable role in Seinfeld's 4th season. George Costanza strikes up a conversation with him and Corbin Burnson of LA Law fame while accompanying Jerry to the set of The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
I actually just had 2 meaningful, intelligent conversations with Corbin Burnson and George Wendt.
Really?
Yeah.
While George believes the conversation to be a pleasant and interesting one for all parties involved, he later learns, from the mouths of his 2 conversation partners no less, that they thought of him as some nut. Another notch in the loss column for old George Costanza.
Actually, a few moments ago, I ran into a nut back there who said, that, maybe we should think about, not doing the show in a bar.
Number 6, Raquel Welch.
I don't move my arms when I dance. That's my signature.
Easily one of the most memorable celebrity cameos in the show's history, Raquel Welch played a mean-spirited version of herself in The Summer of George. After Kramer mistakenly receives a Tony Award for a musical he had nothing to do with, he naturally begins flaunting his newfound, albeit fake success around town. When the producers of the musical in question find out, they give him an ultimatum: fire Raquel Welch or return the Tony. Let's just say it doesn't end well for Kramer.
Well, you're fired because you don't use your arms when you tap dance. You're like a gorilla out there. I gotta go.
Later in that same episode, Welch gets into a catfight with Elaine, much to the enjoyment of a couple of police officers. All in all, a totally bonkers episode.
Now what are you doing?
Nothing. I just wasn't moving my arms.
That's it. You're going down.
Cat fights.
Number 5. David Letterman.
Canceled? But I was supposed to be on tomorrow night.
Yeah, but then, some people were telling me about that little flap out there at the junior high school assembly.
Legendary late-night talk show host David Letterman had a brief but notable Seinfeld cameo in the show's 8th season. The episode begins with Jerry agreeing to do some stand-up at his old junior high school on career day, but ultimately gets bumped by a zoo worker.
I'm getting bumped? You're bumping me from career day?
His agent is furious and books him a 2-hour assembly to make up for it. Unfortunately, when he finally gets to perform, the kids boo him.
What's the deal with homework? You're not working on your home?
Jerry had originally been scheduled to perform on Late Show with David Letterman, but when Letterman learns he bombed in front of the kids, he calls Jerry to inform him he's no longer invited. Short, sweet, hilarious. Classic Letterman.
Listen, we'll call you if anything opens up. Okay, Jimmy?
Jerry.
Right, Jerry.
Number 4. Marisa Tomei.
Have I told you how much I love you today?
Perhaps the most unlikely celebrity cameo in Seinfeld history, if only because she was cast as one of George's love interests, Marisa Tomei ultimately delivered a hilarious performance. After learning that one of Elaine's friends would have set him up with Marisa Tomei had he not gotten engaged, George becomes obsessed with scoring a date with the Academy Award winner.
How can I live the rest of my life knowing I could have been with Marisa Tomei? She said I was just her type. She loves short, stocky, balding, funny men.
However, when he finally does, it doesn't end the way he hopes. In fact, it ends with Tomei punching him in the face. Well, we suppose he deserved it. He was engaged after all.
Engaged.
Number 3. Bette Midler.
What is it?
It's Macaroni Midler.
When she appeared in the season 6 episode The Understudy, Bette Midler essentially took over the show with her performance. From chirping George during a charity softball game to singing show tunes in a hospital bed next to Kramer, Midler played a version of herself not seen before or since.
You said nothing's gonna stop me, so get out of my face. I'm having adventures all over the place. Rochelle, Rochelle!
Seinfeld always did a good job of casting established actors and having them play exaggerated and/or ridiculous versions of themselves. But Midler's cameo is without a doubt one of the most memorable. It is over the top, totally outlandish, and freaking hilarious.
Hey, get some talent, then you can mouth off.
Number 2. Jon Voight.
Taxi! Taxi! Hey! Jon Voight!
Leave it to Seinfeld to whip up a plot that involves a used Chrysler LeBaron, a chewed-up pencil, and actor Jon Voight, and somehow make it work. The Academy Award winner appears on screen for no more than 20 seconds, and yet somehow managed to sneak into our top 2. How can this be, you ask? Well, for starters, his blink and you'll miss it cameo involves him doing 2 things: hailing a cab and biting Kramer on the arm. And while we love seeing famous actors grabbing taxis as much as the next guy, it's his animalistic response to Kramer's bizarre request that earns him such a high spot on our list. In Voight's defense, Kramer did look pretty deranged. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
The whole world smiles with you.
Well, arguments in the Good Samaritan trial ended today. The jury has been in deliberation for 4.5 hours now.
Number 1, Keith Hernandez.
Excuse me. I don't want to disturb you. I'm Keith Hernandez, and I just want to tell you what a big fan I am. I love your comedy.
He may not have been the only baseball player to make a cameo appearance during Seinfeld's 9-season run. We're looking at you, Jeter, but he was definitely the funniest. After his playing career was over, Hernandez appeared in a handful of films and TV shows, most notable of which was a 2-episode arc on everyone's favorite show about nothing, plus a brief return in the finale. In his The Boyfriend storyline from season 3, he managed to make Jerry feel awkward, incur the wrath of both Kramer and Newman, and date Elaine. Of course, we should mention that Kramer and Newman's hatred of him was ultimately unfounded. A magic loogie? We think not.
That is one magic loogie.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.